Hey everyone, and welcome to an all-new episode of Wicked Unscripted, where we have unscripted conversations about some of the most popular reality shows on television. My name is Abigail Adams. I am your host for this podcast. Joining me today, as always, is the lovely Sarah Talks Big Brother, and we are back to wrap up our coverage of Big Brother 25. Rough season of coverage on our end because of
No,
literally so much
ma'am.
everything.
You're not
but
speeding past like you just did the intro with no tongue ties. And we're going to end this season of Big Brother Wicked Unscripted coverage with a perfect intro. And I'm so fucking proud of you, bitch.
We finally did it. Oh, I talk too fast. I know I talk too fast. I cannot help it. We are working on it. But
It's the Wicked Unscripted of it all. I know this because you just were a guest on the Traders podcast and you slipped up saying the name there too, and it became a whole joke in the bit. So
it was so funny.
the
It
name.
was so
It
funny.
has something to do with our name.
I don't know what it is, but it's genuinely hilarious, and I honestly feed off of it at this point. It's so fun. But on top of talking about Big Brother 25 finale and the postseason everything, we're also going to talk about Reindeer Games. And that actually starts airing. I did the math out. Even I'm having this posted in the morning. Little over 3 weeks. We're not getting much of a break between Big Brother and Reindeer Games. We're going right in, and it's going to lead us right up to the holiday.
That it's fully recorded already?
I don't know if it's already, but it will be fully recorded by the time it airs.
I feel like it's already been all recorded, and it was a pre-juror.
I don't. Maybe the only reason I wonder if not is because they were allowed to ask them in the postseason interviews, like, "Hey, would you want to be on Reindeer Games?" I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought, but I'm not saying you have to agree. It's just partially where I come from.
I don't know how I feel. My gut, like, it's just one of those weird gut things that I'm like, I think it's already been recorded.
I don't know about I don't know. I don't know about that part either. What I say I will agree with though is I do think there's a good chance it could be a pre-juror.
I just also find it hard for them to expect somebody to be in that house or house/jury house for 100 fucking days and then stick around for another 2 weeks. But I mean, they do that. They do more than that at random D-list celebrities' houses too. So
we won't go there.
I mean, I did, but go ahead.
Me won't go there. Me won't go there. Where we left off, and also I said this, we already had to scrap one recording already, so that goes to show how Wicked Unscripted goes. I said it in this one, but I got to make sure everybody knows I have quite a cough going on. That's why we didn't get to record last week. So if I mute at any time, and Sarah's just kind of like la la la,
this is me stalling.
If you hear her stalling, it's because I'm dying. I can feel one coming up somewhat soon, but we'll be good for a while. But really, so where we left off is week 13. Cerie's unfortunate downfall. We're not going to rehash everything. I just want to give people kind of a recap of where we left off because I was sick last week, so we couldn't record. And so HOH was Matt. Vito went to Jag. That was the whole mafia kind of talking about Operation Pressure Cooker, which they got grilled on in their post-season interviews. So we'll talk about that. And Cirie was ultimately evicted. Then that led into a live HOH that Bowie Jane won her third. I mean, did you ever imagine, even going into the season, because I'll tell you, I didn't imagine hearing that and being like, yeah, Bowie Jane, 3 HOHs. That sounds realistic. Didn't sound like that going into the season. Even when it happened, I was like, what is going on?
In no universe.
I still don't get it. So,
in my wildest dreams, no. No. So yeah, the final 3 altogether, because Matt going into it, I was like, I feel like he's gonna do very well socially. However, he is a young athletic male in a predominantly physical competition show, as is we are living in the modern era of Big Brother. He's gonna be targeted pretty quickly. Jag was already fucking evicted, and Bowie just thought she was on Summer House. And did not do very well at all with not just um building alliances and actually playing the game early on in the game when the rest of the house was like already in deep with their like ride or dies by that point. But she wasn't pliable, she wasn't flexible, she didn't want to stray outside of anybody that she deemed that she was working with. She didn't want to go outside of that, and when the people that she wanted to work with didn't want to do exactly what she wanted to do or didn't tell her every single waking thing that they were doing, like she had a meltdown. I did not see her being long for this show at all. I didn't see any of them being long for this show. um I'm not what we would consider bitter. Um, I'm disappointed in production. I've made that very, very clear. They have had every year production has misses. Every year production fucks a twist up or fucks a week up or fucks a theme up. Every single year. Never in the history of this show have I seen so many consecutive fuck ups or like major fuck ups. Like this is
Yeah.
how this twist could be incredible. We're going to do the exact opposite of that,
Mhm.
and you can suck our dick. Like that's the way, like what I feel like what was said. And I am upset about that. As far as like the players themselves that we had in the end game, you know, um I have there's like personal issues, but then like Jag on the other hand, like I adore Jag. I think Jag is a beautiful, lovely human being. He made some mistakes and
Mhm.
he had some very human moments in the house that he has taken full ownership of and
Mhm.
is not just apologetic but regretful, truly regretful. Um and so like yeah, as a winner, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
But he did not play a great game, and I'd say that it is good for him for winning the show. Good for him. I cannot fault him in any way, shape, or form. I think that production is the one that set this season up in a way to where the better players of this game would never have been able to win.
I just kind of had a thought, and I'm not saying this is exactly what it is, but like all I can think about is how many like opportunities there were for Big Brother to set a record this year, to do something new. And the more I think about it, the more I wonder if they cast that way intentionally. So, like this season, season 25, their milestone season was going to have some sort of remarkable outcome. You could have had the first deaf contestant. You could have had the first we did have the first sick contestant. Winner, first deaf winner. Could have had Cerie Fields have her big comeback and come and win, but you also could have had her son go and win. You could have also had your oldest winner in 3 different people, in Cerie, in Felicia, and we also would have seen it in Bowie Jane. I'm not. That's
I know. I
probably
think
not
people
even
forget that if Bowie
everything.
Jane had won, yeah, she would have been the first Australian US BB winner. But she also would have been the oldest Big Brother winner, and
Yep.
which makes it hilarious because she was lying about her age. But she
So
would have set the record for the oldest winner of Big Brother.
So I'm not saying that every single person was cast that way. I'm not, because I don't think that there's something for everybody, but I think they were rolling the dice with a lot of people where they were like, look at this, because we can really bank on blah 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 blah. So it's interesting to me. I'm not saying that happened, but it's interesting how it kind of worked out.
Heisem would have been the oldest winner too.
Oh yeah? Oh, mhm.
Heisem's
Mm.
45.
I feel like also if I like there's just a lot of things that could have been a lot of firsts. So just
Uh-huh.
Interesting. Production was very interesting this season.
A lot of stunt casting, it felt like.
I feel like, well, and also and I'm not saying that Jag was a stunt for anything about sick. What I think part of Jag's casting was that he's literally like so many of his mannerisms remind me and others of Paul. Like it's
Yeah.
uncanny sometimes how similar their mannerisms are. Not necessarily
There
physically, but
was
verbal.
another, oh my gosh. Okay, so Jag has an identical twin. Someone else in the cast also has an identical twin. I think that they were debating doing a twin twist at one point.
I think they could. I bet you they had one at least considered, and then
Yeah.
when they saw that we were like, absolutely the fuck not, do not do that, they were like,
Someone else in the house has a twin.
I don't remember, but I remember all of the stuff because we talked about it early in the season. We were like, there because we were wondering about the possibility. Um, so with Bowie Jane as HOH this week, I mean not Bowie Jane. I mean yes, Bowie Jane. Excuse me. She had a very interesting decision of who to put on the block. No, I just had my notes wrong, and I looked at it, and I was like, I'm wrong. What am I doing? No, I'm just going insane at this point. But so Bowie Jane is kind of in not necessarily the best position in the house this time because at Final Four, the best position is really the veto winner. And it doesn't mean that she can't win the veto. It's just HOH doesn't guarantee you too much because the nominations are kind of
It
almost
guarantees
pointless.
you safety.
If
You made it
anything,
through.
if anything, HOH isn't all it does is do that, but it really helps you like you have to show your cards at that point
Mhm.
really early compared to obviously the veto winner has to show their cards, but they don't have to show it until the day of if they really so choose. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, but
It's
if you have
different.
things going on both sides of the house, you can say like, "Guys, the veto's all that matters. You guys pick who's on the block between the 3 of you." Like,
I think it depends on the player and the position they're in, which position would be better.
yeah.
Um because I think it really comes down to like those few days. There's a lot, even though social game pretty much dies, every social move that is made is crucial at that point because
Yeah.
it's pivotal toward the end game. Um, so that's why when Jag was legitimately considering cutting Matt, we all shat ourselves as live feeders. We were like, is this for real? We were all like running around. And then with about 5 or 6 hours before the eviction, we get an extended "we'll be right back." And we come back and Jag has completely changed his mind. And social
Did he
has
though?
had a field day.
Did he though? He's saying that it was never on the table, that he just had to consider it, which I would not put it. I mean, we know that production has encouraged the house guests to explore all options, aka give me that footage of you thinking to go the other way so that we can keep the mystery alive. That's a known thing.
Oh, totally.
So,
Absolutely.
and according to him, yeah, he considered it, but it was he never considered it.
I don't know. I think it'll be I that's the part of everything, like, I wish we could get full access to Diary Room. I know there's no chance in hell that would ever happen. I'm not saying like, "Ooh, maybe someday," because obviously that's just not it, but that's the missing piece of the puzzle every single time with these things, and it gets so frustrating because we can't there's not much we can do to try and decipher what actually happened besides just kinda be like, "Okay, what clues do we have before? What clues do we have after?" Because they will cut away from production conversations like that. They will block them out. They will do pretty much anything to avoid having that as part of the conversation that us feeders can hear. So, yeah, it's an interesting situation.
I mean, he's talked about it in the postseason interviews.
Oh,
So,
yeah. No, but I still think if we're going in chronological order, that was a moment where we were all losing our minds because in that moment, it very much seemed like he was
oh,
going to be
yeah. But
backtracking on
even
him.
up into the finale, right? Like even up until like his speech and stuff like that, the way like I'm sorry. Daddy Jag is an edger. I said what I said. This is a grown-up podcast.
I'm dead. That's you're 2 for 2, girly. You're 2 for 2 tonight. But I mean, it was interesting to watch in the moment. I'm with you where I think that like ultimately he wasn't really considering it. It was just kind of in the moment. We really only saw that considered for about 24 hours too, and I think it was one of those moments where he was worried. He even said it himself. He was worried he was going to make the wrong decision.
No, that
And
was just all foreplay. He was just teasing us. He was
whatever he was
excited and worked up.
I love you. Ultimately, Felicia did go out. She called Matt America's whatever on the way out, and I was just like, okay, it's a choice. Definitely made it it definitely made like going into the jury roundtable for the finale, like you could kind of see where certain things were going to go at that point, based on the way she answered that, at least from her direction. But we'll get to that in a little bit. For now, let's talk about the final HOH competitions, unless there is anything else you want to talk about
Nope.
with Felicia's eviction. Cool.
I mean, I will say that I loved her interview with Julie. I could have
Yeah.
sat there and watched her. I feel like she did very, very well in her exit interview with Julie. I adore Felicia, and she was an absolute wonderful casting choice. She was a delight on the feeds. She made mistakes. She's fully aware of the mistakes she made. Um, but I will always be Team Mama Fee, and I feel like the love for her should really encourage production to cast more Mama Fees, but not just cast them, give them equity, make it equitable to where they can actually have a shot at winning. Because let me tell
Yes.
you, the only people that actually had any chance since day one of winning the show were Jag, Matt, Cameron.
Mhm. Absolutely. Jared had a shot, but
No.
much less. Well, if he did until he opened his mouth. If he learned to keep the mouth shut, but I guess that means he wasn't really like, for it, I guess.
Jared was absolutely fucking trash at competitions, and the only
But
competitions that
people
he
gave
did
them
win.
to him, but people would give them to him, which
No,
is
well, yeah, the
wild to
only
me.
competitions Jared ever won were by default. So, like, again, the only since day one, because of the competitions, the only possible outcomes for winners and the people that were going to make it to the end were Matt, Jag, and Cameron and
Yeah.
Heisem. I'm just
Mhm.
saying, like, Heisem was a great casting choice, great personality, great. I'd say he's up there with like a great BB villain. But he was also great at competitions. He did very well, and I feel like he would have done even like if I feel like we cut him too soon, and if he had stayed in the house, he would have won a lot more.
Oh, totally.
And we would have had more of a back and forth between the Jag Matt side and the Heisem, Felicia, Izzy, Suri side.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Um, I think he's
Mimi called it.
yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, a lot of the feedsters called it too. A lot of people were like screaming, like, "What are you doing?
I mean,
Don't
don't get
do
me
it."
wrong. He was chaotic as fuck and he was very dangerous, but he was also a shield because he was never going to target Felicia, Suri, Izzy. He wasn't going to target that side.
No,
He he
they
wanted
just
to
felt
take out the
threatened by the way he was just like, "I want it my way." And it's like, sometimes
Okay,
you
let
get
him have his fucking way. Keeps you safe, boo.
it's so funny. It's
Ride it
like
out a little bit.
they made that move way too early, like
Yeah.
weeks too early. And no one's saying don't make that move when like it becomes time to, because you don't want someone to win out, right?
And
But
this will
like
all
it
come in
was
like
not the time.
I'm working through my postseason analysis stuff too. This will come out then, but like bottom line is Felicia didn't have to make the move because the other side was going to target him way before they target anybody else. So Felicia didn't have to make that move. She could have known that the other side was absolutely going to do it. And, but anyway, I don't want to get on a tangent. I'm just saying that, like,
you're good.
With the way the competitions played out, there were very few outcomes, possible, especially since Dead Week and that kind of how the structure completely just tanked after that. But yeah, like the part 3 HOH, it was whatever. We ended it with fucking rock paper scissors. It came to like rock paper scissors. It was giving Skittles.
I mean, we're literally right there, so let's just jump right into it. So week 14 was split into 2 parts. So that last part we talked about, that was the first chunk, got us from Thursday's first eviction to Sunday. And then after that
What are
was
days? What is time? In a 100-day season, doesn't matter.
I can't math anyway, so like that's just advanced math at this point for me.
Yeah.
But anyways, so round 1 went to Matt, and as Sarah was just talking about, literally went because they were like, I don't want to do this anymore. You want to just rock paper scissors it? Like, be so expeditiously for real right now. Like, I saw so many alum tweeting that night, just being like, what is this show that I was on
happening?
come to? I don't blame them for being frustrated too, because they're like, this is not the show I was playing. What is this? What is this? What was it? I don't know. What is it?
It was throwing a running competition to the one with the broken foot.
Yep.
It was the outcome doesn't matter. We are wasting our time because we know how this is all going to play out. None of this matters. What I wish would have happened is Bowie Jane not be allowed back in that house. So the only way for them to do something, like, they would have had to do it in front of Bowie Jane. Not that I think it would have made any fucking difference with her, but for anybody else it might have. I know it for sure it's fuck would have made a difference for me. Like, what are you doing, Jag? What are you doing?
Especially when you make a deal that he had with her, where he had a final 2 deal with her, and she was convinced that it was a legitimate deal. Like, she did it for all of the things that she realized afterward, when she got blindsided by the bye-bye bitches. I almost said the blind bitches. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Love it.
Yeah, so after that, I lost my train of thought.
It's fine.
Oh, yes. Bowie Jane was like, "Oh my god, there are actually alliances going on here? This is so crazy!" And, like, finally started to play the game, but, like, that's where I sit and I wonder what her reaction would have been to this, because I can see it going one of 2 ways, and it would have been both extremes. She would have been either really happy and been like, "Yay, you decided it with rock, paper, scissors," and, like, cheered them on emphatically, or she would have been absolutely livid and been like, "Why? What'd you do? Why?" Because, like, obviously final 2 deal, right? So,
Yeah.
I feel like it would have gone one of 2 ways, and she wouldn't have been in the middle and secretly seething, I think. I think she was done secretly seething, and she was just open with her emotions at this point. Not saying she couldn't have, but I just felt like that would have been the thing that kinda let her feel, I don't know, probably more mad than happy now that I'm thinking about it, but I could so see her being the person to just be like, "Yay!" and just being, like, wanting to go inside, wanting to get out of there.
As far as part 2 goes, can we talk about part 2?
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed part 2. It would have been really fucking easy for me. But
Jealous.
I don't think the zip line was necessary.
No.
I think that this was a hard enough comp because if just one of them is wrong, they're all wrong. So it was a hard enough competition. You didn't need to add the zip line. So in this comp, if you don't remember or you gave up on the show like so many and you're just like here for the updates and what happened and the rundown. They had all the competitions listed and you had to sort them one into the multiverse they came from and in the order they were played. So we had 2 orders, and it was a 100-day season. There were 37 total well, I mean, now including HOH, part HOHs. But in my original statistics and stuff, there were like 34.
Something like that.
I think we ended at 34. Over 20 of those were all physical.
Sounds about right.
But anyway, but then this one, they had to make it physical too. You had a zip line between the multiverses to do all of this, and you don't need that. You had an endurance comp, if you want to call it that. It was a sitting endurance comp, but whatever. And then you had this multiverse. You have that be a mental comp. And then the last one is, how well do you know your jury members? It's like, what happened? What happened to the scales of justice? And there's been no justice this season.
No.
Again, I know I'm just going over and over and over this, but like this is like kind of misses. It's just every single episode's a fucking miss. We didn't need the zip line. That's all I'm saying. It was a good comp though.
Yeah, no, I also thought it was funny because like we're looking at Jag's time and Jag finishing like over an hour, and it's like, that's really bad. I remember when we were getting it spoiled for us on the feeds, and it's like we were wondering why it was taking a long time. We're like, Jesus, like we know timed competitions tend to take a while, but like it's only 2 people. Yep. And I think the feeds were down for like 5 to 6 hours.
It was a
and
while.
We were like, why can somebody just please, we kindly want to know what took them so. And then we saw this, and they were like, and on the feeds revealing to us that they both clocked in at over an hour. And I was like, that's too long for any competition. If that, like, they need to look at this again and be like, how can we reel this in? Because no competition like this should be an hour long. I'm not saying don't even do a 45-minute one. Like, I'm not saying don't make it hard and that they have to do
I don't care if it took them 4 fucking hours. You don't need a zip line. I don't care.
Well, I would say 4 hours would be good if it was a different kind of competition. Like, I think physical is better for those.
I see, and I disagree. Give them a mental comp that takes them 4 fucking hours. You know what I mean?
Hey,
I
would go insane. I think that's partly why, like, if I had to do a mental comp for 4 hours, I would literally try and tap out. I'd be like, yo,
I'm just saying, like,
I'm done.
Make something hard for them.
That's so true, though. Also, if they knew that this was something that needed to take 4 hours, if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't be automatically quitting. I'd be mad if I was like doing something like this, playing a guessing game or something like that, and like the one answer's wrong, and it's like it would psychologically break me if I was in there for 4 hours trying to figure out what the hell I did wrong. It's like, just time me out at 3 hours. I don't want it. But agree to disagree on that one.
I mean, we watched them hold a fucking button for over 14 hours. I can, give them 4 hours to figure out a massive puzzle.
Yeah, it's just it's not even about a I'd say massive puzzle is easier, like, for me to accept though.
I don't mean like, literal puzzle. I mean like mental, non-physical. But they still had to make it fucking physical. That's
yeah. I would say a puzzle of some sort that would still require like mental, like you got to remember things. I would feel it's just easier for me, but I know this is like the style of competition they do every single time for part 2. So I'm not saying they would change it. It's just, and it's an interesting to debate. Even if I've seemed like I've taken a side, I don't even know how I feel. Like, I feel like I don't know.
I feel like season 25 should be the textbook to future Big Brother writers and producers of what not to do.
Yeah, literally everything you did for the twist, do the opposite, please.
I feel focus groups are a thing too,
Our TikTok pages can be the focus groups. They don't need to even hire them. Just go check our pages. There you go. That's all you need. That's all you need. So with Jag winning round 2 and Matt winning round 1, and we didn't mention the comp for round 1. That was just the classic getting slammed against a wall while hanging on a rope comp. Nothing to write home about. So round 3 was as Sarah mentioned before, the classic do you know your house former house guest, housemates, whatever competition. It was really even. They had to go down to a tiebreaker that was also very close, but ultimately it did end up going to Jag.
Some of those were really hard and sneaky because they just was like one number off or whatever. Like some
Yep.
of it was very sneaky. But then I feel like the last 4 were so blatantly obviously easy that I was like, what are we doing?
I know, right? It was so funny. And I think one of the big highlights of the night, though, for me was the way Jag played with us when it came down to um, this vote, because we were live for this, right? And we were sitting here, we were pretty confident he was taking Matt. And we were like obviously entertaining devil's advocate. And we were just like,
That's when he got the nickname Daddy Jag from me. 'Cause your man's a tease.
I mean, that was a beautiful moment though, because he literally at one point had us convinced he was changing his mind. And we were just sitting there looking at each other being like, there is no way he's doing this right now. And then he psyched us out.
But
And it's
like I got caught up in the moment.
same. So much.
But in retrospect, in hindsight, he did that the last time too.
Yep.
So
No, I don't think it's necessarily a bad strategy though. I just think it doesn't change minds.
production is here for it.
Exactly. So I don't know. I thought it was really interesting. It made for a really great moment. I live for those kinds of moments. Like I get angry when I get played too, but like I love looking back at it and be like, "Oh, you got me. You son of a bitch."
I mean,
So that was part of why I loved that moment, because I got fooled and it was really well done. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't I don't think you could tell that he was bullshitting until he finally flipped back and was like, "But psych, I'm actually gonna send you out. So bye, Bowie." And I was like, "Damn." And that kind of leads into like how Matt and Jag kind of fought for themselves at the end of this. And ultimately, it was a tale of two very different strategies. Jag, who absolutely nailed it, and Matt, who absolutely failed it. I mean, Jag put so much time and effort into his speech, into studying all of the moves that he did and thinking about the possible questions. And Matt was like, I did none of that. Literally was saying, I did none of it. It's a choice. It's a choice. I don't know how you go 100 days in this house, have a chance at this literal amount of money, and just let it slip because you didn't study. I mean, like, I want to say I guess I'm not necessarily surprised. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to think about. Um, Watching Jag absolutely obliterate him in the final was just something else, because like he
we
just
cannot. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop you right there. We cannot skip over
what did I
some of the
say?
most iconic questioning I've
Oh no,
ever
it's just
heard.
all part of this segment. It's just
Yeah.
all the whole
So
part.
I'm just going to take a moment and anyway, I was trying to do a clip um of Bowie's iconic, I can't even use that word with a straight face. Bowie, Bowie's question.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
I I'm sorry. I wish I could make the clip work audio wise. I've tried everything, but yeah, it was a moment. It was a moment, and I love that she's now leaning into it. I love that she's in on the joke. Um I love that she just changed her profile picture to the emoji with the pigtails.
Oh my god. Hilarious.
Yeah,
Hilarious.
Yeah, that's her new profile picture. So, like, I'm here for it. I love a player that can make fun of themselves with us, you know? So, most redeeming part of all of that for sure. I feel like the question segment was very, very watered down. I really
Oh,
enjoyed
yeah.
the pre-jury segment when all the secrets came out, but as far as like the jury's line of questioning, I feel like they asked exactly what I expected them to ask. And I feel like Jag answered exactly how he should have answered, and Matt answered exactly how he shouldn't have answered.
Which was unprepared. Like he didn't do anything. He didn't put any thought, and it's not like he had to have everything thought out word for word. It's all he had to do was put some thought into what he did in his game. And I was gonna save this for the postseason stuff, but since we're kind of walking into this, I feel like at this point, if you think of any postseason commentary that we've heard, you can throw it out there at this point. But one of the big things that I noticed was he was just banking so hard on the fact that he saved Jag in week 4, so that therefore he must win the game because
But
he
he
did better. And
didn't
I'm
use
like,
that the way he should have. He went in and he did talk about this
yeah,
in Kat's interview today. He didn't go into this wanting to throw Jag under the bus. He didn't want to take shots at Jag. He said, I didn't want to make myself look better by putting someone else down. I just wanted to advocate for myself, which admirable in the real world, admirable as a human being and in life. Not so much in a game that is a selfish, cutthroat, backstabbing, two-faced, need to lie, get your bag kind of game. And
yeah,
those are the kind of players, like, people were up in arms about Jag's speech, and I'm like, guys,
I still don't get it.
he's literally saying exactly what he needs to say. He's taking
Beautiful.
ownership, and he knows those super fans in the jury are eating up those fucking words. Um, be selfish.
Mhm.
Get your money. You're not splitting it with your bestie. I feel like Matt is hurt. I feel like the comments that have been made, I feel like he was hurt in that moment. I feel like he's still a little hurt by it.
Oh, I
Just
think
from
yeah,
he
I
just
agree.
by the when that came up. It was very much a to each their own. That's not who I am, and I wanted to stay true to who I am. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. This is a game. And when I'm telling you, like, if I'm playing Monopoly, I'm a good giving person. If I have an abundance of cash and you have none in real life, I family, friends, like, I will help you out. If you can't pay your bills or you're about to lose your home, I will do whatever I can to help you. We're playing Monopoly. Fuck you, file for bankruptcy. Like,
I think that's a fantastic analogy. I think that's a fantastic analogy because a lot of people think about it as, well, I take it personally. It's like, of course, everybody's going to take things personally. Like, this is how an emotional game works. A game that relies on people's emotion. Duh. Like, but did emotions matter to you when you made this move and that move and
mhm.
this move? Why does it only matter now? Like, I think that was my issue, and I'm not saying that like I'm like angry at all with either of them as a result of it. But I feel like Bowie and Matt didn't necessarily own up as much as Jag did. They were just kind of like, well, I actually just wanted to be loyal, and that's why I did. And like, Jag was like, I was loyal, but I also knew I had to make moves. Like, I
Yeah.
tried to play my game on loyalty until I saw a move I had to make in that moment.
Dan was loyal to Danielle. He still cut her throat to get himself out of hot water.
Absolutely. Cut her throat
Michael
on multiple
Michael was loyal to
occasions. You did the thumbs up too many times.
Michael was loyal to Brittany, but he still threw her ass under the bus to get himself out of hot water. Like,
You
it's
and
part
you
of the game.
you ad
And if
nauseam
you
have
and I
said
people
stuff like
were
this.
appalled,
Yep.
appalled when I was on live and I was talking about if you and I played Big Brother. I said, "Bitch, we would ride or die to the end. But if it's me, her, and Felicia at the end, and she gets to pick and she picks me, I mean, I'm going to be very, very thankful in the moment. I'm going to kick her ass after the show's over. I'm going to say, it's your fault. It's your fault you lost.
Totally. Oh,
But
except I
same
would
thing
win
for
in
her.
the
Like,
end.
yeah,
Except I would
bitch, I'm
beat
cutting
you.
you over Felicia. Are you kidding?
No, but like that's the thing though. And like I think that's what people miss about the game. And like I love going back to that example because people still get so confused about why we would ever do that. Cause I would do the same to you. I would literally be like, adios.
I have to
Love
pick
ya.
between you
Can't go
and
with you.
Felicia or you and Sari to compete in the final stretch of power for a $750,000 game. I'm sorry. I love you. And I can't say it on camera and I can't say in the house. You best believe I'm sliding you some of this money, but one of us has to win it.
Shh, you can't tell them the secrets. You can't tell the secrets, Sarah.
Just saying.
Nah, I got
Now,
you.
it might even come down to it where like that, and when I was that was a Final Four situation for us too. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah.
I get the appeal of like your ride or die, one of you getting second place. You know, there's money in that too. Um, I get that. I get that appeal. I feel like every situation is a little different. I feel like you can go to the final two, very even playing field, and it could be a complete crapshoot that like Jag could have known if I'm sitting final two with Felicia, I probably lose this because they love her and they hate me. That's a very valid reason. Um, considering, taking Bowie, who no one in the jury house had any respect for, and wasn't impressed, like that's an easy win. You know what I mean? Like you have to take all those relationships into consideration. If you and I played a very even game, we know we would kill it for jury management. I might even take you to final two if it was just going to be a crapshoot of whatever the jury is feeling like in that moment. But you best believe I'm slitting throats in my final speech, in my final plea. I'm expecting you to pull out all the stops too. I want it to feel like a Comedy Central roast at the end, honey. Like get that money.
Ugh,
And I'm glad that
seriously.
Jag took the opportunity. He wasn't hateful, he wasn't nasty, but he,
No.
like, said it what it is,
It was
And
eloquently
Matt went
done.
into it like, "I need to just stay, like, the bestie here."
It was
And
Jag was eloquently evil. And I know people might hate that, but that was exactly what he needed to do. And like if people don't like it, like that's Big Brother. And people got mad when we would get whenever we criticize things and we're like criticizing something, people will be like, that's Big Brother. And all of those people are the people who are mad that Jag did what he did. Not all of
yeah,
those people, but a
exactly.
large portion of those people are mad at Jag for approaching the final the way he
Those
did.
are
And it's
also
like,
the same people
how?
that got mad that Michael, like, stepped over the coffee table, walked down, slammed the door behind him.
And literally was like, I have something to say. And then just walks out.
And you know
Deuces.
what? Like, that's part of Big Brother. Do you know what's
Yep.
not part of Big Brother? Hugging after every single ceremony. Being forced to hug every single house guest after they all just fucked you in the ass by putting you on the block
Literally.
or not using the veto on you. You know what
Literally.
I mean?
That is
That's not part of the
so agree.
game.
Yeah. Well, and like that's one of the things, like whether you like him or hate him, that's one of the things that Evil Dick has said since he's been on the show, before the show, after the show. He's just literally just been like, I hate it. I hate it. I want it to stop.
I'm
And
telling
like
y'all, this is why one other reason I could not be on the show. Y'all would cancel me so fucking quick.
I
Yes,
would
y'all
literally just
are
like
like
look at
the
people and be like,
younger
touch
fan
me
base
and
of Big Brother.
die.
Huh?
I would look at people and be like, touch me and die.
Yeah.
Like, no, thank you.
They'd be like, Sarah's a real bitch. You know what? There's a lot of money on the line.
Oh my
You'd be a
god.
bitch too.
Yeah. And some, but bitches never win in this game, and I don't mean that in a mean way. And it's because, and I don't use that in like in a derogatory way. I almost use it to be like that is how people view women, and they're just like "Ugh, bitches," and it's like they just don't end up winning. They don't.
I wear it like a badge of honor.
Trust me, Sim. It's just like unfortunately, anybody who's been labeled a bitch and been convinced, and they've been successfully like the whole house has been convinced of it.
Speaking of bitches,
But
can we talk about some of the interview stuff that's come out since?
oh, totally, absolutely.
I mean,
we're
spoiler
transitioning to
alert,
the
Jag won. Okay,
and we'll
but
talk about AFP in a little bit, but we'll do this first.
yeah, we'll get that.
This will be
So, we've had issues with Matt throughout the season.
Matt.
I feel like Kat Dunn actually called all his shit to the floor. He's been asked in multiple interviews about his comments to America. The very first night, and keep in mind he had no context what I was saying. I told y'all he's probably not fully aware of what was like what they were referring to altogether. But he said, I love America and they call me Maddie Roast because I roast all my friends and that's how I show love. And we're like, that's funny. That's suspicious because I never saw you roast anyone else. And I even tweeted, I'm like, well, this was his interview with Mike Bloom. And I tweeted at Mike Bloom's interview. I was like, well, according to that logic, I wonder how Jag and Bowie feel about not being Matt's real friend, because it seems to me that America was his only friend in the house. If that's how he, shows friendship and that's how he shows his love, is he roasts his friends, because he only roasted her. So in Kat Dunn's interview that she just posted today, it's wonderful. The Conspire Away podcast that she asked him that, and she said, hey, you said this, you called her a lazy bitch, you called her a conniving bitch, you said she was a lazy bitch for she didn't know how to cook or to clean. And then she just listed off all these direct quotes and things that he called her. And he finally said, you know what? Oh, and then she said, and in a previous interview, you said you were just roasting her, but why didn't you ever roast Jag or Bowie then? And he said, you know what? I am not proud of that. It was not okay. I have a lot of growing and learning to do. Emotions really ran high in that house, and my perception of people really got warped and changed. And I've apologized to America. I apologized to her last Thursday, and it was not okay, and I shouldn't have said those things, and I do fully regret it. And he said, and I hope that I can just become a better person from this. And you know what? That's a very I'm so glad his mom wrote that response for him.
I was just gonna say that's the most PR answer I've heard out of a house guest in this entire post interview process.
She did not ask him about the Tate stuff, but
I do believe they get to still screen these questions. So I bet if it was even if she tried, probably was going to get watered down to something different.
I don't know. They never really watered down Cat shit. Hers is always the most cutthroat.
No, I think they let her do pretty much anything, but I don't know if they're because bringing up Andrew Tate can really run real significant risks depending on in what context it's being brought up. And I just mean that
I think knowing Kat, if she was going to ask it, she would have asked it so do you follow, are you a friend, or do you follow Andrew Tate? It's a non-problematic question.
But I feel like they still might deny it because they're like, we don't want people to run away with it even if she doesn't get a follow-up. I'm not saying you're wrong. I don't think that Kat wouldn't. I'm just saying I don't know if production would let that slide. And I don't know. Because they let her do a lot. I'm just saying. That's why I'm saying if
hers are always my favorite when it comes to the problematic house guests. No, I do think that his mom wrote a really great response for him, and
beautifully done. She worked so hard on it.
She worked really hard on that one. You know what though? It's what I needed. It's what I wanted to hear. It's not going to make me a Matt super fan, but it's what I wanted to hear. I will hope it was healing for a lot of people. I hope that it gave some closure to a lot of the people out there who really take this stuff and these people to heart. And So I think that was great there. But I do love how Kat ended it. She said, "Now here's the conspiracy. Here's America's back on Instagram, and it's been known that it's been said that she blocked you, and he had no knowledge of her even being back on Instagram." Um, so I would love. He had no knowledge. We didn't get very far with that, but I would love for to find out if that's true.
Drums. Oh, I love it. I live for
Yeah.
that shit.
Now the Jag interview, my question I submitted to Kat at wanting her to ask Jag is a very honest question for him. And did he feel, because he was very aware of the physical um challenges and how there was an increase in them. He was very self-aware that it was a lot more physical comps than mental. So I would be very curious, and my question for him would be, is going into that and playing this game with such a physical advantage in a predominantly physical competition show, did he feel like he didn't need to work on his social game? Was his social game not as important to him, or not as much of a priority? Because maybe that could be where we saw some of the holes. He didn't feel like he needed to do as many social things as we were like screaming through the screens, at begging him to do, because he could always just win out. And I think that's valid. I would be very interested to hear his thoughts on that. Not trying to demean his win at all, but
Oh my god, no.
but yeah, his was great. He she asked him about Cameo, and he's doing all that, what he's going to be doing. Her conspiracy for him was that he was worth $5 million. He said in no universe is that true, and he wishes it was.
So that's been debunked.
And he said he heard that coming right out of the house, and he had no idea where that came from, and that's absurd, but he wishes it was true.
I think it's probably because somebody looked up the company that he owns and probably found a similar named company that is a totally different LLC and was like, "That's it." And it's
But
like,
just because a company
I'm
you
guessing.
own is worth like an evaluation of 5 million does not mean you are worth it. You can't just like sell your company for 5 million
You
and
are
have
not the
5 million
company.
in your bank account.
I think that also just goes to show also
I mean, I
how.
don't know a lot, but I watch enough Shark Tank to kind of know how
Okay,
this
well, can we
goes.
just talk about these are the same people, and I'm gonna make a real like not safe for work reference here. But these are the same people who thought that Aaron Rodgers dropped a bong on a field. And I'm like, who carries a bong in a box full of water? And we're just like, it's a bong. And I'm like, common mother fucking sense. Like, think about it. And really, in reality, think about the trucking company. It's a trucking company. Is it Jag, the trucking company? No? Then guess what? The trucking company is a separate fucking entity. That does not mean that Jag is worth $5 million unless he is 100% owner and takes all of the profits and gets everything that comes in.
But even then, he wouldn't
It's
get
still
five
not it.
million because out of that 5 million, there's debts, there's employees,
Exactly.
there's assets, there's stocks, there's most importantly, there's debt. Um
It's
and
so much common sense. It's,
yeah,
oh my God.
that's it could have been true. It could have very well been true, but I feel like a lot of those things, there's absolutely no research behind any of them when people
No,
just
it's
like
just a number thrown
tweet
out.
them into the universe,
Well, because
into the multiverse, if you will.
a lot of people will go online and just like throw out numbers, right? And they'll just be like, I saw Chris Pratt, and I'm just making up a number. Don't cite me on this. I'm just using it like Chris Pratt is worth $34 million because of this movie, or like got 34 million on this movie alone. It's like, where did you get this number? Where is your not if it's not coming from a legitimate source, don't. Just
You know what?
don't.
The only time I ever, speaking of Shark Tank, this is a little side tangent, but
Oh
I
yeah.
love Shark Tank. I love it. Um,
That
one
was
of
one
my
of my I
favorite things to
love that
do
show.
is when I'm watching Shark Tank reruns is I see the companies that don't get deals from the old reruns, and then I Google to see how much they're worth. And one of my favorites just came up recently. Um, Favorite moments. I always Google it because then I'm like, like, wonder
Right.
how Lori feels about this. Well, like they're not fucking hate. Like they give a fuck. But whatever, like, part of me is like, "Look, he showed them," and, Swimply, I don't know if you know Swimply. They are not a sponsor of the podcast. They could be. I am a customer Swimply for my son's last birthday. He wanted a swimming party. Swimply is like Airbnb, but you can rent people's swimming pools, in
Really
their
cool.
backyards. And we did that, and it was wonderful. It was lovely. And so then I see this old Shark Tank episode, and guess what? It's Swimply, and they laughed him out of the room. He didn't get a deal. And I looked it up, and like he's worth like like the company's like 30 million or some shit like that. I was like,
Bitch, well, Scrub
so
Daddy's
like
the same
what I'm
thing.
saying is, and the point I'm getting at is like
Scrub
we
Daddy.
could have debunked the Jag being a millionaire shit with just a sentence in Google will help you.
Mhm. And also, if you
In the
wanna type in
words of
other
Omarosa.
sentences, like, to help you figure things out, like, don't just type in 1 sentence, maybe type in, like, 2 or 3 that are different so
Yeah.
that you can, like, get multiple
Or,
sources.
click an actual link
Literally, to a
that comes
legitimate
up
website.
and go into it. And
The
it's not
concept.
Reddit. Reddit's not a reputable source. Reddit
No.
has helped me immensely in the past with like diagnosing certain things for our leopard gecko, or like figuring out what I can do about a skin tag. But Reddit's not a good reputable source to be reporting people's income on, guys. Like let's do better. Let's do better. I'm not a
Yeah.
Abigail is. I'm not a journalist though. But I do know that. I do know that. And I
You don't
do
have
know
to be a
enough.
journalist, though.
Um,
It's just common sense. You don't have to be a journalist. You kinda just it's media literacy 101, and that's really kind of okay, I hope people don't take this the wrong way, but, like, a large chunk of this fan base, and I'm not saying it's just this fan base. I think it's every single fan base for anything that exists.
but no one exists like Big Brother fans.
Oh, I know, I know.
I
It's
can't think of another fan base out there.
particularly
Maybe the
bad.
Swifties that are as fucking feral
It is,
as Big Brother.
but that's how it goes, is, like, some of them lack so much media literacy or just, like it really is when they're consuming their content, like, there was a comment that Matt made that everybody was upset about, and, like, I'm not saying that it's bad, right? But, like, he used the new phrase, it's not new, but m new to, like, common vernacular, um, is cooking, and he was talking about how Sarit and Felicia were cooking in their minds, you know what I mean? And everybody's like,
Mhm.
"He means he means that he wants them to cook all day," and, like, he did make a comment like that, don't get me wrong, but, like, one of the comments that was circulating was him saying that they were just cooking in their minds. He's like, "We gotta
Oh
keep
yeah,
them up
when
and, like,
people
we're
tag me in
cooking,"
those
and I'm like
fucking clips, and I'm like, "Yeah, I saw that clip. I also saw the 10 minutes leading up to that and how completely out of context that clip's taken." So,
mhm, and well, and that's the problem with because people will just and especially one of my massive criticisms of X, formerly known as Twitter, is that, like and I think this was done intentionally too, is that they took away the check marks, and now the check marks or the people who had check marks can't legitimize a lot of what they're saying, and vice versa. People who have check marks now are just being like, they're throwing random shit out there that doesn't mean anything, and people are trying to decipher what's legitimate and what's not. And it's so difficult now. And it's really frustrating because it's like,
yeah.
why should it be this difficult? It used to be much easier for people to be able to decipher what was legit and what was not on Twitter, and
Yeah.
can't even do that anymore. So,
Um,
whatever.
yeah. I mean, the postseason interviews have been great. I think overall, this cast is probably one of my favorite collectively postseason. I'm really enjoying almost everyone. Like, there's none of them I'm like, "Ugh," as in like I was last season when he who should not be named. Um, like, there's no one that I wouldn't pop in and watch a bit of a live. Now, watching a collective of like a few of them at the same time, like
There are a couple I'll pass on personally for
there's a
like
couple I'm gonna pass. Like, for example, I have no hate for Kyle from last season whatsoever. I feel like he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He made a mistake. He owned up to the mistake. He came out after the season, and he not just owned his mistake then, but like continued to take ownership of it. And he did not try to capitalize on anything having to do with that. I feel like he handled that situation perfectly. I don't understand his lives. I'm sorry. I'm
His
not his
lives
demographic.
are so
I,
strange.
I'm not his demographic. No hate, but
Nope.
like, I'm not gonna hang out in his lives mostly because I don't know what the fuck's going on. But there's other lives for this season's house guests. They're out, like they're doing their things. They don't seem to be saying anything overly problematic except for the one. But I feel like that one we don't have to worry about much longer because he has dug his grave with CBS. um, I'm just, you know what? I'll say it with my chest. Red. I don't foresee CBS working with him in the future. I feel like they very specifically never even referred to him pre-jury on the finale night for a reason.
Oh, he's been talking so much trash on this app about the show and production, how it's rigged it for Suri, which is just, and then like offered no legitimate evidence besides just saying that like they favored her because she was on Survivor.
Yeah. So that's his journey. Um, so no, I'm not going to be particularly drawn to a live with say like him and Bowie or him, Bowie and Cameron. Y'all know how I felt about Cameron this season. Um, I feel like Cameron post season is so much more palatable. Um, Post season Cameron is less condescending than he was in the house. Of course, he doesn't have any power outside of the house. But I am going to go on record that I absolutely see him having an OF by the end of the year or by the end of next year. He's already leaning into those pretty hard. Apparently,
Well,
he's a Colleen Hoover fan. Um, yep, and he has the whole collection.
interesting.
Yep. I was be very so he has the whole collection, which means he has Verity, which would be very fitting. If you like my book girlies know. Um, but yeah, like uh yeah, I feel like the only cams from Facebook are gonna really encourage him to lean into that side. So I do see that journey from not judging, get your money, get your bag. Just please put like disclaimers on your content.
Why?
So that I don't see things I can't unsee. Um
The
but
biggest of moods. I guess my ring light must be on a timer because it was
again,
just
I want
like,
to make it
okay.
very fucking clear. I will never judge anyone. If I had prettier feet, any sort of ass, and I didn't look like a busted can of biscuits, you best believe I'd have one too, okay?
You is beautiful. Stop it.
So I am not
I
judging.
feel you though. I
I'm
so
not
feel you.
judging.
No, the only thing, and I'm only saying, and I'm just trying to think, there are franchises that won't bring you back though, because you do OnlyFans. So like I know Ozzy from Survivor is like a no-go anymore because he like does stuff on OnlyFans.
Do you know who also okay, do you know it's not just OnlyFans, but he does like
Oh yeah.
full grown corn.
Yeah.
It's what's his face from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yes. 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 I know. We won't even drop the name for I don't want this we've already dropped so many names in this podcast. I'm literally just like I don't want to hurt people's
Like again, not judging, get that bag.
Oh my god,
If
no.
anything, like
God,
anyone who is
no.
in that industry, I if
Crazy.
I ever get drunk and start talking shit, just know it's pure jealousy. It's pure jealousy that I have to drive and work 8 hours when I like because I don't have the capabilities to do what you're doing and you make more in 30 minutes than I do in a month. And I love that for you. I hate that for me.
Isn't that the truth about it though? Just like, it's if only life was so easy and we could all just be
So, yeah, if
beautiful.
that's gonna be his journey, that's fine. Or he could just, be playing up to the moms and the Facebook moms, whatever. I I stand by what I said. There is not a single house guest from season 25 that I am like with, post season.
Yeah, I don't really think so either. Um, I also admittedly am not really one that likes to keep up with contestants too long after seasons. It's just
Mm.
kind of like I mean, I think that's just the way I am with most celebrities. Like, I'll follow them and I will keep tabs. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, it's like where it's like I follow you all the time. It's like, oh, if you post something and it's really interesting, then yeah, I'm probably gonna go on TikTok and be like, look at this cool thing. Da, 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 da.
I
But like, I'm not gonna
follow. I
like post
mean,
everything. Like, there are some people, and I don't mean this as a drag because I know people who do this, but like, there are some people who post every little thing that is said, and it's like, okay, but, like, I'm just gonna and I'm not judging, that's their content, do you, boo. Like, it's just I don't wanna post every single thing that is said, and also, I just don't really I think it's because I don't care enough.
I get that. Where I come from on this end is that it can be very overwhelming to, and I know this because I follow them all and have notifications turned on for all of them. It can be
You
very
read me like a
overwhelming
book.
to turn on for the Sharon and Mike Bloom and Kat Dunn and like all of the interviews, right? But I feel like I remember very vividly how I felt post season 19, where I just spent all this time waiting for some sense of closure. And the house guest got out of the house, and I never got that accountability from Raven. I never got to hear, like,
Oh my
I need
god.
her to tell us why she lied about the most ridiculous things. Like, I need to know the logic. I need to know, like, I don't listen to unsolved murders
Oh my god.
because I need the
Her is
closure.
everything.
I need to know the motive. I need to know what was so fucked up in this killer's childhood that made him do this thing. I need to know all the things to get that sense of closure. And so I get that feeling. I remember having that listless feeling and just that constant searching for, is she ever going to address it? Is Todrick ever going to address why he said what he said in the house? Like, I remember all these feelings of, I need closure. And so I listened to all the interviews and listen for those things because I know there's a lot of people out there that are upset with Matt. And there's a lot of people that are upset with Jag. And there's a lot of people who don't understand why Bowie played the way she played, or don't understand why Felicia and Sari just couldn't get along. There's those people that need those answers. And so I might feel like I have enough context to be okay with it, but, like, I follow the interviews and try to, like, encapsulate those because I do understand that feeling. Um, I we are going into Thanksgiving next week. Imma tell you this right now, when I'm smelling cornbread dressing and I'm not gonna give a flying fuck about these house guests come next week. But this week, they have my full attention. They're being released back into the wild, and it's very fascinating. It's almost more of a social experiment than the 100 days they spent in the house.
I absolutely don't disagree. It's always interesting to see the social dynamics. Because it's been interesting to see how the Matt and Riley situation has panned out since then. Because that's been
He
a
said they just talked on the phone today.
oh boy,
And
slow clap
she
for
goes, "So what
them.
direction are they going in? Are you guys going in?" He said, "I mean, up."
Could mean a lot of things.
But listen, AmeriCorey are living their best life. I'm loving America is one of us.
I love
She
it so much.
America is so one of us, and I felt it on the feeds. But like seeing her old Twitter account and seeing like her types of posts and like the shit that she is like, oh my God,
I live for it.
she is a BB Twitter stan, and I'm here for it. America's everybody I listened to, or everybody I used to play those like Big Brother Twitter games with.
Yes. I'd
Um,
love for her to like, I don't I'm not one to be like, go get a podcast, because everybody's probably going to go get a podcast. That's pretty much how it always works. And then like half of them fizzle out after like 3 episodes and they don't try anymore. But I would love for her to have a podcast or some place where she could do exit interviews, because her exit interviews, I feel like, would be top notch. Like, I feel like she would give
Mimi
some
did
real.
a fantastic job with Felicia. Mimi's done a great job. Gosh, I
That's
love
another one. Yes.
But Mimi had Felicia on a live, and she treated it like an exit interview. And it was wonderful. She is fantastic, and I want to see Mimi on more and more things.
I'll be doing a TikTok on this a little further. I think one of the things we will at least see her invited to, whether she agrees to or not, is Challenge USA. Whether she agrees to it, I don't know, but I can absolutely see her doing that. She's not horrible in challenges. She's not necessarily the strongest, but they haven't necessarily been. I mean, they cast Alyssa.
1000% she's going to be on challenge.
They cast the last 2 Alyssas. Alyssa S from season 23.
But I'm going to prepare you guys right now, and I'm not saying this is going to happen. But I just want to prepare you. If her and Corey don't make it.
Oh, God. It's
going to be
okay.
But if her and Corey don't make it, and she goes on the challenge, there will be a new showmance. And just be objective. Just be thinking, do not compare whomever that person is to Corey. Do not compare whoever that person is to Amara Corey and who she is with him.
It can't be bananas. Just anything but bananas.
I don't think it would be, well.
I'm not. I'm just.
It could be bananas.
He is hooked up with so many women from so many reality television
I think she knows that, though. I think she knows that, and that's why it wouldn't work. However, I could see it being a Tyler. You know?
The little breathing sounds y'all hear on this recording is me just like trying to comprehend this. Like I get it. I'm so with you, but I'm just like
being a Tyler.
Oh, not Fessy. Anything but messy Fessy.
Fessy's fucked them all. All right, let's just get that out in the open. I'm pretty sure it is an application requirement to get on the shows. Will you fuck Fessy? Because he's hit it all. I'm gonna get kicked off TikTok. I keep forgetting we're on podcast and on live.
And we need to remind everybody, especially because we are still on TikTok live. This is just jokes. We're just joking. We are not.
This is for entertainment purposes only.
We are just fucking around. This is the podcast. You're just having fun. Sarah!
This is for entertainment purposes only. These opinions are mine and mine alone, and this is a pure parody.
And viewer discretion is advised.
Viewer discretion is advised.
We should have said that. We should probably say at the beginning of every podcast, I guess. Because we go in. Anything else?
Now let's talk this fucking Reindeer's Game bullshit.
Alrighty. So we're going to pivot now for the final segment of this podcast, which is going to be about the upcoming Reindeer Games special. It's going to be 6 episodes across 2 weeks. I have the whole schedule. We'll break it down for you. As I mentioned before, it's about 3 weeks out. So it'll be interesting to see. Sarah's like trying to get the little things.
Trying to get balloons. Because I can't fiend it. I can't make fake excitement. There we
go. She got the little party.
I got the balloons.
Took long enough. They described it in the press release as, quote, a new game with a new set of rules and a cast of BB legends. And the reason I put that in there is because they literally specifically there said a cast of BB legends. So Sarah and I will be answering some questions about that moving forward in a little bit. But on the finale night, we saw Frankie, Brittany, and Danielle come back into the house.
Loved it.
We're closing the multiverse. And then they accidentally opened the holiday verse instead. So that is what's bringing us Reindeer Games. So just a couple quick notes. The house guests will not live in the house. There will not be live feeds. And these competitions will be large. It'll be like the competition side of the show, not the socialness.
You know, Our favorite fucking part.
Yay! So keep that in mind as we go forward, especially as we talk about casting in a minute. Yeah, so anyways, Reindeer Games will be pre-taped. And it will be shot in full before the season airs. As I mentioned before, we will have 6 episodes across 2 weeks. It starts on December 11th. Again, that's in about 3 weeks. It'll be on a Monday. It will start with a 2-hour premiere. And it will go through December 21st, literally days before Christmas. There will be 9 former house guests that return, including 1 Big Brother 25 house guest. This will not be hosted by Julie Chen, Moonves. It will actually be hosted by Santa's elves, which are Derek X, Tiffany, and Tiffany from Big Brother 23, and then also Jordan Lloyd from seasons 11 and 13. So here is how it will work. There will be 3 competitions per episode. Remember, there are 6 episodes. And each competition, or each episode rather, will end in what's called a Santa's Showdown. And this is going to determine who goes home at the end of each episode. So there will be an elimination at the end of each, presumably. 4 people will make the finale on December 21st, and they will compete for a $100,000 grand prize. We're assuming these are all going to be holiday-themed competitions. We just have absolutely no idea what they look like yet. Here is the quick little schedule breakdown, and then Sarah and I will kind of ponder some questions. So again, 2 weeks. It will be on specific days. They won't be scattered. It will be Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. However, though the days of the week are not scattered, the times will be. So I don't know about Sarah, but I know I'll be posting these times directly to my TikTok and all of that. And so this will be easily accessible, but let me run down what it looks like. So week 1, we will start with a 2-hour premiere that will run from 8 to 10. Most of the episodes will run from 9 to 10 p.m. though. That's what the second episode will be on Tuesday. Thursday, however, will be 8 to 9. That is just for week 1. So let me just rerun that because I kind of went a little over. So Monday, December 11th will be 8 to 10. Tuesday, December 12th will be 9 to 10. And then Thursday, December 14th will be 8 to 9. So that's week 1. Then we move into week 2. And we're going to have mostly 9 to 10 p.m.s. That will be both Monday, the 18th, and December 19th, the Tuesday. And then Thursday will start earlier, and we'll have the 8 to 9 p.m. time slot as well. So not much will change for the Tuesday and Thursday episodes. It will just kind of be a little wonky for Monday. Just an important note as well that you must have Paramount Plus with Showtime in order to stream it live. You have to be able to use the CBS affiliate to you have to access the CBS affiliate in order to see the show. And if not, you have to wait until the next day to watch it on Paramount if you have only Essential. So the next question, so now we're going to jump into some questions if Sarah is ready. Want to take a pause?
No, you're good. I'm almost done. I'm going live on my other account.
Yee, okay. So we are going to run through a couple other questions. Sarah's just having some TikTok-y beauty.
Sarah got in trouble. All right.
Sarah got bullshit, which is just classic. So now that we've kind of run down what we're looking at, 2 big questions. Who do you want to see and who do you think we'll see? But
None
I think
of them.
the most important question to start with is who do you think / want from Big Brother 25? Because that is going to inevitably we will have one contestant. My prediction is it's Cam. I know Cam has said that he's like hesitant to do it. I think he will be the first person they reach out to. I think Matt will be the backup. After that, maybe Heisem.
I would love to see Heisem.
I think Heisem would be my pick. I would pick Heisem to do it. But ultimately, I think
I would pick America.
Oh, I would kill for America to do it, but I think ultimately
Oh my
we're
god, can you
looking.
imagine America in there with all those BB, like, legends and icons and alumni, and I would love that for
I
her.
mean, I feel like Heisem would, and I would love it for her, but I feel like Heisem would also fangirl a little bit and be like, "Ooh," but, like, I don't know, it'd just be interesting. So, I ultimately think it's gonna be Cam or Matt, but interested to hear what you think.
Yeah, Cam was my top prediction, but part of me is thinking that it's already been recorded, so I was feeling like Heisem.
I think that's a good pick. So who else do you think we'll see versus who do you want? Let's start with who you pick. Which one do you wanna start with?
Who did they eliminate? Who did they say is like the host? Jordan?
So the hosts are Jordan, from season 11, she's the season 11 winner, Tiffany from BB23, and then Derek from BB23. So I'm not sure we'll see anybody personally, I think that's it. Like, I don't know if we're gonna see a 23 person on there.
Yeah, I think we might see Kyland. Um,
We could.
yeah, I think we might I would hope we would see Rachel.
We
Uh,
better.
yeah, yeah. Um, I think I don't think Dan is out of the realm of possibility since he's back in the thickle bit now.
Oh, you wanna know why I say he can't?
Hmm.
Because Janelle said she couldn't because she is under contract. Oh, no, no, no,
He
wait. That does I don't I'm gonna say maybe not. I believe she's currently under contract right now with Peacock because of Traders, but I don't know when she's not allowed to compete on other shows. Because she was talking with people on Twitter about it, and she said if they did a Legends season this winter, she wouldn't be able to do it because she would be under contract until, like, 6 months after the final episode of Traders was launched. So that would be sometime in January. Sometime in January, she has said that, meaning that she likely wouldn't be able to get anything until mid-June. So I don't know. Interesting. I don't know if that now that I don't know. Could be maybe they can. I was trying to think if the contract, but then now I just talked myself out of it, I guess.
could be Tyler and Angela.
Oh, they would imagine if they put them on there together. Nah!
Not very Christmas cheery of
I don't
them.
think they'd do that.
Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know. I haven't given it too much thought because I haven't given this too much thought other than, are you kidding?
Yeah, no, I
Um,
feel you. I because trust me, I mean,
I
how
don't even
also
like Christmas movies. I
are there
don't wanna
9
watch Christmas competitions.
are there 9 movies
What
movies?
are the
Are there
odds that
9
Christmas Abbot's there,
legends?
though?
What 9 legends wanna do this, though? They call them legends, and I'm just kind of like, how do we define that?
What are what are the odds that Christmas is actually on the show?
I'll just leave. We cannot call her a legend. I'm just be so fucking for real.
I mean,
Legend at what?
bar fights?
Running around and breaking an ankle or leg or whatever the fuck she did? Getting
Um,
dropped by a cowboy? Literally what happened, like, Christ. I don't know. Just trying to think. Josh, I could see Josh doing it.
yep.
I could totally see Josh doing it now that I think about that. But I think ultimately they would wanna go with Christmas because 'cause they're gonna be like,
Enzo,
"Christmas." Could totally see Enzo doing it.
they love them some Enzo.
I could see Nicole Franzel doing it.
Yeah, and Victor.
Oh, yeah. One or the other. I don't know if they'd have both on. I think they wanna probably I would be surprised if they put couples on together.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter
No, but I mean, I think they
because
know
there's
that
no
people will be like
strategy in this show whatsoever.
I know, but I think they might still be like know that there will be people like myself who are gonna be like, "So we're just gonna give a single household, like, an extra chance at winning?" That's where I would come from, where I'm like, "Why are we giving that household double the chance?"
Yeah.
Um, Other than that, I'm trying to think of, like, oh god. You know who I could one fun one and then one not fun one. And I don't know if they would put them on I know they wouldn't put them on a season together. Davon or Frank. I feel like we're gonna have to get one or the other.
Give me Davon.
Oh, I mean, give me Davon every day of the week, but the
Every day.
question is who
For
now
all
that we want, who if hypothetically one were to make it on, who do you think they would go with, though? I still think Davon. I think Davon has given CBS Paramount much more longevity, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We know Grodner enjoys her some Sid Vicious's son, so we also apparently production just loves anything with the name Sid Vicious, but that's a conversation for a different day, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Yeah, I
think.
could see them using Cody.
Oh, I could too. That'd be an
But
easy.
I don't see Cody and Derek doing this.
Not together, no. Absolutely
No,
not.
I'm just saying either one because Cody didn't do well on the last show he didn't do well on.
But they could put Polly on maybe.
Polly, yeah.
Polly might be somebody that gets on there, and he's been and Polly's a comp and speaking of, we could also see Fess. If we're talking
But I
about people
need
who've done
him to
challenge
show
stuff.
up on the first day in his Mojo Dojo Casa House coat.
You're gonna kill me. We got so close. We got so close, Sarah.
If Polly's not in that coat, I don't want it.
I'm
With the
living on it.
earring.
All right. Any other thoughts on Reindeer Games before we wrap up?
No.
All
I
right.
I pulled out a lot more thoughts than I ever thought I could possibly have about that show.
I
So
know, I tried so hard. I had the questions and, like, it's not that we didn't put in the effort, but, like, I don't know,
I
there's not
mean,
I don't know.
listen. Bottom line. No one asked for this.
Nope.
Literally no one. No one. When we said, "Hey, production, we miss Big Brother social strategy. Hey, production, we really, really miss the days where the competition was just to further the game and to force players to have some level of social strategy." And they went, "You know what? Bet more comps, none of the strategy. Merry Christmas."
And a happy fuck you to you. Like, oh dear lord.
Thanks. You know what? If I didn't know any better, I would say it's the same guys that wrote the last season of Game of Thrones. Like, whatever the people want, do the exact opposite. I love chaos.
That's so funny. Oh my god. Well, ultimately, I feel like this show's kind of just being catered to the casual fans at this point.
It
Like,
is what it is. At
it,
least they'll fucking get their slip and slide. You know what I'm saying?
if we don't, oh my lord.
Oh, it's
If
happening.
there is no Christmas slip and slide, we riot.
There is.
We riot at dawn. Oh, but with that, that wraps up this episode of Wicked Unscripted, and that wraps up our coverage of Big Brother
It wraps up
25.
season 25. I'll
Wow.
probably post some postseason shit.
Oh yeah, likewise.
On the podcast site. Like, I could just go
Oh
on
yeah,
here
yeah.
and do those like solo things. We could just like do little mini updates, maybe a new year check-in or what everyone's doing now, who's going to be on the challenge, who's going to be Amazing Race, and who's going to drift in and never be seen from again. I'm planning on doing a lot of that stuff, but overall, I gotta say, as the season goes, as high as we started, we fell so far, and I'm just so thankful to be done with season 25. And
Yeah.
I
Close the
I
book.
feel like maybe this season for 26 will get like a season 19 to 20 effect, where it's not that 20 was great. It's just it fed us in a post 19 world. So 26 really, like, the bar is set so low here, that I'm very much looking forward to 26. And for that, like, thank you. This has been great. This has been a great it's a great time, Abigail.
Oh, it was, and
I got to
I
meet you this season though, so
but
there's
that was
that.
so did. Oh my god, that was great. Even though the podcast episode didn't come out as clean as we wanted,
It's fine.
who
Fuck it.
cares?
We were together,
It was the best. It was the best day of my life. So yeah, if you guys like what you hear, just don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. Please excuse that last episode or two where we had some technical stuff. We are just amateurs having fun. Um, but we are like, this has been so much fun to be able to have this outlet back after the hiatus that we won't talk
It
about
is.
too much.
It is. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back with the show. I'm very excited though to free up more time to talk about some really good TV in Survivor 45.
Oh my
So
god. And honestly, if we decided to touch House of Villains at some point, House of Villains has kind of been, so
we are
we'll see how that
21 minutes
goes.
into House of Villains, is 21 minutes into the episode right now, and I will be racing to that
She's
TV
like
to hit that back
she's
button.
like,
This will be the
"Abigail,
rest of
shut
my
the fuck
evening.
up and finish the podcast, you
Listen
bitch."
here. Yes, I will absolutely be recording a House of Villains episode post Thanksgiving.
Yay! I'll be with you then. I'll join you. We'll do
Awesome,
something then.
because obsessed,
Oh,
fucking
so
obsessed.
good. So
In
good.
Survivor 45, as much as BB25 was starving us, these shows are feeding me, and so, like, your girl's not losing any weight, unfortunately. So
Yeah,
I'm really
love to
excited
hear
for
it.
the other things.
We do regularly post on our TikTok accounts. That's a great segue. So if you want to follow us, make sure you do at It's Abigail Adams for moi and Sarah Talks Big Brother for her. I know we've talked like intermittently about getting the Wicked Unscripted one going. We promise we're getting there. It's just been quite a process to like get the podcast up and going after the hiatus. So now as we move forward, I promise there will be many more videos. I already have like a ton of ideas for clips from this one anyways. So that'll be fun. Oh, thank you for the gift on live.
And I will go back to doing lives and live subscriber trivia nights as soon as my live access is restored. Right now, I am in timeout until November 23rd.
That's a I can't with I can't. I actually can't.
And I got
Welcome,
hit with
well,
2 infractions.
with 2?
2.
For what?
Harassment, bullying, and sexually explicit content. Take that, OF.
For fuck's sake. Shows how much our podcast is wicked unscripted, because apparently it's so goddamn unscripted we can't even do it on TikTok without Sarah getting banned.
It's fine. It is what it is, but
Well, anyways, follow us there. Again, it's Abigail Adams for me. Sarah Talks Big Brother for her. She can still post videos. It's just the live access thing we'll figure out.
yep.
I will also be starting to do some just general trivia nights. I'll probably set up a schedule moving forward. So that'll be lots of fun. And if you want to ask us a question for the podcast, share your thoughts or leave us a tip, just email us at wickedunscriptedpod, P-O-D, at gmail.com for more. That is wickedunscriptedpod, P-O-D, at gmail.com for more. And Sarah also at the bottom of this video has also put her email, which is sarahtalksbigbrother at gmail.com. So all those places you can reach us for all your podcasting needs. And we're always looking for fresh and diverse voices to join the conversation. So with that, we'll see you next time. Thank you for everything. And that is a wrap on Big Brother 25.
Bye.
Thank God.